All right. So went ahead and hit record. So we're going to get started. Thank you so much for joining me this evening. My name is Olga St. Pierre. I am a member of our community, just like you. And my passion and my work and what I do has to do with our community and our real estate. So this is who I am. So just a little bit about me. I am a licensed real estate agent. I have been practicing and working with our clients in New Jersey and Pennsylvania for the last 12 years. And I truly, truly believe, and this is our team mission, is that anyone with a desire and some budget and some planning can become a homeowner. And once you guys do become homeowners, my mission, and this is why I'm here, and this is what I do because I truly enjoy it, is to help you become and also continue to be sustainable and responsible homeowners and being members of our community. We help move our clients, friends, and family members anywhere in the United States and Canada. And now the borders are becoming even smaller. So we definitely have resources in other locations and parts of the world for sure. And besides that, if you are staying put, we are still here for you as a virtual Yellow Pages, right? So think of us as from A to Z. If you're looking for contractors, recommendations for financial advisors, for more other professionals, attorneys, anyone and anything you can think of, we have the resources to help you. So please don't hesitate to reach out to us and we can help you with all of your needs as homeowners. Okay, so let's jump right in. What I thought I would do is give you a little bit of overview of what happened last year, and then where are we heading into now, right? We are into the third month of the first quarter. So I just wanted to give you my thoughts on how things were left off last year and where are we heading this year, okay? So here's what we learned in 2020, that change can happen overnight. It can be small, it can be drastic, right? We've seen it. It was very uncomfortable for most of us. And a lot of the times these changes and these things that are happening are out of our control, right? We can't fix it. We can't change it. We can't do anything about it. So I think a lot of the times I have to remind myself, I don't know about you, that this is something that we just need to be mindful about, right? If it is not in our control, we just need to take a step back and see what is it that we can do, maybe for ourselves or for our loved ones. Okay, right. So two things that we can control are our thoughts and our actions. And in working with my clients, this does come up a lot because, you know, everybody's worried about COVID and what's going to happen and how is this going to affect everything. And what I tell them is that, you know what, people are still moving, people are still buying and selling, people are still decluttering. What do you need, right? This is what I have these conversations with my clients just about every day. What do you need? How we can help you? Okay, so here's the trend that I have seen last year. People are moving into suburbs, right? They are leaving and heading out into suburbs out of the cities. People are looking for more square footage. We're looking for space for office and backyard space, right? And this is exactly what it is that, you know, we've been seeing for the last about 6 months, 6 to 8 months or so. Okay. Next is increased cost of contractor labor and materials. You're going to see it more and more prevalent. Okay. When talking to some of my friends and contractors in the business, they said that there's actually backlog of materials where, because of this, you know, shortage of production last year, companies and manufacturers are still trying to catch up on a lot of these things. So there is actually lack of materials, and also prices have gone up, right? Because there is not enough of materials. And so, which means now be prepared. If you are looking to get some home renovation projects done, they're definitely going to be a lot more expensive. So just be prepared for those sticker prices, okay? So still absolutely record low mortgage interest rates. They are still holding strong. We're talking about rates between 2.2 and just under 3%, depending on the type of mortgage that you get. And what happened was, because such low record rates, there's such a huge demand for homes. Those homes that have been coming on the market and that have been selling, they just have not been able to catch up to the demand of the current amount of home buyers that are interested in taking advantage of those low rates. Okay. So what I have advised people, and I'm still advising today, that if you're not interested in moving, right? If you're thinking about staying in your home for another 3 to 5 years, consider refinancing. Okay, I actually just refinanced my own primary residence, and my rate is now 2.6% from 4.25. So it was amazing to see the reduction in the amount of years that I had left on my mortgage, as well as the reduction on my monthly payment. So if you need some suggestions on how to go to and do some shopping around for rates, I am here to help you. So I'm here for you. Okay. So what I also thought was going to happen is that with COVID, my thinking was that people were going to take cautiously what's happening in the, in the real estate market, in the community, and overall. But what we saw is that as soon as stay-at-home orders got lifted somewhat, people just started running, right? So that was very much surprising for me. Okay, so what are we seeing already? What to expect this year? With the new president, some of the changes that the administration plans on making, they're going to start to come in slowly, right? Especially in real estate, you don't see these things affecting something overnight, right? Is where you can see this with the stock market. So we're talking about in the next 6 to 12 months. I'm going to be watching it closely. I'm actually doing a coffee chat on my YouTube channel now monthly, where I'm tracking to see what has happened in the last month and keeping everybody posted. So check that out after the end of this workshop. Okay, so as long as the interest rates remain slow, the demand for the homes will remain high. And you know what that means? That means that for somebody who may be interested in selling in sometime near future, or maybe in the next year or so, this is an amazing opportunity to make good money. Okay, it is a great opportunity actually to capitalize on this demand. Okay, if it is the right time and the step for you, right? Again, if this is not the right time, however, if you think that you may be making a lot more money than you thought, it might be a good opportunity, right? But you never know until we can sit down and talk about it and look at what's going on in your neighborhood and do a market analysis for you. All right. So the IRS rule on equity gain, if you're selling your primary residence, I get this question a lot, and I did speak to my accountant about it. All right. Is that if you are selling your entire residence for $250,000 or less, or if you're married and you're doing this to your primary residence and the sale is $500,000 or less, that means you are not paying the taxes or the income tax gain on the amount of equity that you are gaining from the sale of your home. Okay, so what this means is right now as a seller, you are absolutely a rock star. You are a king. You are in control, which means that there's very little repairs that you need to do. You get to pick your favorable dates. You are absolutely in control of pricing and terms. So if I ever tell you in the 12 years that I have been practicing real estate, if there was ever a best time for sellers to sell, I'm going to tell you that the time is absolutely now. Okay, so what I wanted to show you is just to give you a little bit of a taste of when I sit down with my clients, and I do this with all my clients, buyers and sellers, because they need to understand what's going on in the marketplace right now in the area where they're either going to be selling, right, where your home is, and also in the area where you may be going to, right, because you need to understand what you're going to be getting into. Okay, but what we do is we look at key metrics and we try to compare and look at things from last year to this year. Okay, and here you can just take a look, right? The amount of sales that we've had year over year is absolutely drastic, right? We had a lot more homes that sold in 2019 compared to 2020. And the amount of sales is just the demand has been surging, all right? What I also look at is the average sale price went up by 17%, right? And this is for the whole county, right? So just keep that in mind. It's very much general, okay? There were actually 63% homes less for sale if you're looking at the comparables, and months of supply is unbelievable, right? Just to give you an idea, what this means is that if no more homes ever went on the market, we would only have literally 4 weeks, 5 weeks, if that, at best, to sell everything. Then there won't be anything at all, right? And this is actually 67% less in terms of where we were the year before, the same quarter a year before. So the statistics are unbelievable. It's just the demand is so high because of the interest rates. So then what we also do is we look at a little bit more details. If you're trying to get an idea on how the market is in your neighborhood, okay, the market statistics is going to vary by a couple of things, okay? Number one, it's your township, absolutely your school district that you're in, your own neighborhood, right? It will vary neighborhood to neighborhood because of desirability and overall location. Are you in a great location, or are you going to be somewhere where maybe there's a turnpike, or maybe there's parkway nearby? So we always look at those factors as well, because yes, it does make a difference. And one of the questions that I get quite often is, when is a good time to sell? Okay. And my recommendation to you is, when is a good time for you to sell? Okay. Because I can guarantee you with 100% certainty that there are people that are shopping for a home 365 days a year. It doesn't matter if it's a weekend or a holiday, people are out there, because if they have a need to have a roof over their head, they will be shopping for a home. So what we look at when we look at a 12-month overview, right? I do this for your neighborhood specifically. And if you would like me to do it for your neighborhood now, even if you're not thinking about selling right now, this is a great way to get an idea of where your equity stands for your home. And then you may make your decision, or maybe make some changes in your decision. It'll give you an idea on how the market in your neighborhood fluctuates based on the season, based on holidays, based on when the kids are going back to school. Like, all these things are important. So we look at the months, how many homes are listed, how many homes went on the contract, and how many homes are sold. And we also look at days on the market, and days on the market gives you an idea on how many days average homes take to sell from the day they come on the market until a buyer offers a contract and that contract is negotiated. Okay. So currently we are in March of 2021, right? In this particular town, there are only 29 homes that are on the market, and it's about a month and a half of inventory, which means it would take about a month and a half to sell all these 29 houses, and then that will be it. And if you look at a comparison to last year there were 53 houses, right? So it's like almost half of the homes, and there were 4 months of inventory. So really, the market has gotten a lot more competitive and tighter this year, which again plays into your advantage as the seller. So let's talk about how are we going to make a move, whether it's year 2021 or maybe 2022. My goal always when our team works with our clients is to make the process as smooth and as stress-free as possible. All right. So a couple of things that I'm always recommending to my clients. I am a big believer on having notebooks. I know we're living with technology and we live in digital world, yet nothing can substitute a regular pen and a notebook. I actually use a notebook myself for a lot of things, right? For my notes, for my work. It doesn't have to be anything fancy, but this book is going to be dedicated for your moving plans, right? So write everything down so that way you have a visual plan. It is not in your head. That way you can sleep better. Trust me, you're going to sleep better once you put everything down on papers, okay? So write your concerns, how you feel about your decision making, when do you want to do this? And I encourage you to focus on the positive and anticipation, because a lot of people feel, oh my God, I'm thinking about moving. It's so much. It's so overwhelming. And it doesn't have to be, right? Because we're here to help you. We're here to help you create a plan. Okay. Then there's budgeting and finances overview, right? Because you tell me where you're moving, right? This is something that I have a list of questions that I always ask when we sit down with our clients, because it's important for us to know, are you staying locally or are you moving to Florida, right? Are you moving across the country? Like I had clients relocate to Oregon, very different kind of cross-country move. So we need to know that, okay? Your possessions, what are you planning on taking with you and what are you not taking with you? And as happens with some of my older clients, do you need help, right? Some of the older clients, maybe their health is not there anymore and they need help. And maybe family members are not there, okay? Next, guys, this is important. So please pay attention. Even if you are not planning on making a move anytime soon, you have got to start decluttering and pre-packing. I can't even emphasize to you how it's important. I'll give you a perfect example. We're going through this right now with our seller client, and he told us he was going to be in good shape. And we said, you know what, you're probably going to need a dumpster. And guess what? Today we helped him with some help of a couple of boys. We helped him fill a 20-yard dumpster, and it wasn't enough. Well, what my husband ended up doing is we filled it pretty much to the brim, and we had to order another one because the closing is on Monday and we're not done. Okay, so we had that as a backup plan. So we said, all right, we need another dumpster, and that's what we're going to do. So don't wait, because most of the people, I can tell you, don't realize just how much stuff we accumulate during our living in our home. All right. So here's a couple of guidelines. Furniture has to go out first. It is the most to get out, most difficult to get out. So look at the things that you have and make your plans accordingly. Okay. Use your garage, closets, and unused rooms to store your stuff. Okay. Sell and donate. If you have some things that need to go to your family, you need to give yourself and your family a deadline to pick up and come get their stuff. I can't tell you how many times our client has asked their family members to come get it, and then what ends up happening, stuff gets thrown away because family members never make it, and then our client gets upset, and it's just not a win-win situation for anyone. All right. If you need help with there are professionals that we can recommend to help you pack and sort and get all the stuff out of your house and put it into the dumpster or get it to the donation center. Just let us know if this is something that is important to you. Okay. Next, we talk about and review, and just roughly, right, if this is something that maybe is important to you, we talk about and we plan a timeline. Okay. What is that transition timeline is going to look like? Okay. And what helps is reversing engineer the timeline, right? Instead of going A to Z, we actually start at the end point of where you're going to be at your location, right? Where are you going? Are you going to be in Florida? Are you going to be downsizing and staying in Burlington? Are you going somewhere else? Okay. And then we reverse engineer, we look at your timeline to see how soon do we need to get started so that way we're not stressing, you're not stressing, we have plenty of time and enough time to get everything done, right? So that's kind of how we work backwards. Okay, so these are the questions that we ask, right? Where are you planning on moving? Are you going to be downsizing and going to a bigger home? What are your financing considerations? This is important. And the reason why it's important is because if you're going to tell me that you need to buy a condo, but you need to sell your house in order to buy your condo, then this is how we need to work on it. Right? We need to have your home under contract. And a lot of the times now, because of how competitive the market is, when you need to sell your home, you need to be moved out of there into somewhere else potentially, so that way you have the funds from your sale to buy your next home. Okay. So who is on your team? Who is going to be helping you? Do you have family members, or you need someone to do that? And maybe you need to hire somebody to do it. Okay. What are your expectations? We have this conversation. This is very important, right? When we talk to you, the communication is key, because I want to make sure that I understand exactly where you're coming from and what are the most important things for you, right? For some of my clients, it's important for them to get the top dollar for their home. For some of them, they say, you know what, if I get an X, but I am out and I am on my way to Florida in this time frame, that is what's most important for me. So you need to decide what are the most important things to you. Okay, important timeframes to know and to remember. We go over the market analysis that I already shown to you, right? The neighborhood, the season fluctuations, and what you can expect. And at that time, we determine the strategic selling price range for your home with a game plan in mind, right? And this is why the notebook is so important, so you can write everything down. Okay. And then when we reverse engineering is when we are going to be working with you, working backwards from that day to make sure that the home is 300% ready for the sale, which means that when your home goes on the market, it is in 100%, I am ready to be sold stage, right? There is no unfinished business. Okay. During that time, what we also talk about is timeframes. If there's any updates and repairs that may need to be completed to make sure you truly get a top dollar for your home, we take that into consideration, because sometimes it takes time to get a contractor on board and so forth, right? So if you are thinking about doing some repairs to your home and you are not sure what repairs you should do, definitely let me know, because my goal is for you not to spend the money you don't need to spend. Okay, so I'm happy to give you some advice. And there is no time like today or yesterday to get starting on decluttering and pre-packing ahead of time. All right. Next, what I want to also share with you, this is a critical slide that I share with just about everyone, even with buyers, right? I explain to them, and I want you to understand that I understand that it's emotional to sell your home, because you have so many memories, you have so many emotions, and it's just tough to sell your home because you've been here, you're living here, your family grew up here, maybe you grew up here. I'm selling a property right now of a family, and the wife was born in that house, right? So her parents owned it and then they bought it from them. And now they're actually relocating out of state. So to her, it's very emotional. Okay. So when we look at the pricing of your home, I'm going to ask you just to put your emotions aside. And I know it may not be easy, but the goal is that the buyers are going to look at the pricing of your home from a couple of strict criteria, right? And the criteria is based on today's market and economic conditions. And again, because there's so little homes inventory on the market right now, you're going to get a great price for your home. Okay. You don't have a lot of competition, which plays to your advantage. Okay. We're going to make sure that there is accessibility to show your home. Location is still as important as it was 20, 30 years ago. It still is important now. Aggressive marketing is still in place. And yes, the better condition your home is, the more money you're going to get for your home. So these are true indicators of the market value of your home. Okay. And that is what we focus on when we are looking at the target price range for your home. Next, we are going to set ourselves apart from the competition. We're going to do some preparation, right? A big part of what we are doing now and helping our clients is decluttering, and also making sure that the home is safe and you as a family members are safe because of the COVID, right? So we have some preparations. We have strategic ways of placing showings to make sure that people that are coming in are protected, and you as a seller is protected as well. So don't worry, we do have these kind of plans in mind. And there are also state guidelines that we have to follow to make sure that everybody's doing this safely. Okay. There is some staging involved. Absolutely professional photographer quality photos of your home are important. And there is a home marketing materials portfolio that I do ask you to fill out, because it will help us to market your home in the most efficient way as possible, to let the buyers know what is it that they're going to be getting into with this home, how much the utilities are going to be costing, because they may need to do some calculation to make sure that it fits in their own budget. I just wanted to share with you a couple of photos just to have an idea of what do we do to, as part of our strategic marketing plan that is different from a lot of others, other realtors out there is, and this is how, I took a picture with my phone, and this is what the house looked like before. And then the pictures that are on the right, the right column is what we did after staging, after doing some repairs, and then having professional photos taken. And all these homes were sold in a matter of weeks. If the home is vacant, I always strive to show buyers what the lifestyle that they can have in this property. And then every picture that you see here was actually staged. We have the software and technology to do that, to help buyers kind of envision themselves in these homes. Physically, they are empty. However, when we do the presentation and the marketing, it looks like they actually have furniture in them. So it's part of our marketing services to you. Next is pretty much go time, right? When you are ready to go and we have done everything that we need to do, we have 3 weeks until your home is officially on the market. We are actually sitting down and preparing the paperwork. Okay, paperwork is important. It is really an agreement between you, the sellers, and myself and our team. And the agreement is that we working together as a team to get this home sold, to get you to your next destination, right? Whatever your goals are and your plans are. We have an easy exit listing agreement. We have no long-term contract commitments. This is something that I would never do, never agree to do myself. And I never, my philosophy is to make sure that my clients are very comfortable in working with us. We have a performance guarantee. We absolutely have a communication guarantee, so that way you are hearing from us at least once a week, if not more. We are here to help you and keep you posted on everything that is happening with your home and your game plan. And everything that we do is in writing, so that way you have records, you have copies of everything that we do, the documents that you sign, so that way you have everything for your tax records, as well as for your own records of, for your financial portfolio. We work on getting our photo session. We're talking and getting our pre-listing marketing plan in place to kind of put the feelers out there, letting other offices and other agents that are in our network know that your home is coming on the market, because the goal is to create the buzz so that way when the home does come on the market, we already have some potential families, potential agents that are ready to go because they have perfect clients for your home. Okay. And communication plan is from now to the listing live to going forward. We're going to be talking to you on a regular basis. If we have to, we're going to be doing 20 to 30-day marketing reviews and pricing reviews. And then always, we're going to be doing expectations check to make sure that you are satisfied with our work, and want to make sure that you know that we're doing everything that we can to help you in this process. Once the home is on the market, right, our job is to carefully watch and see what kind of reaction we get from buyers and other agents. We're tracking online views and saves, numbers of scheduled appointments, and numbers of offers over a period of time. Okay. In the market right now, a lot of the times the house does not stay on the market past first week, right? We usually show the home for 1 or 2 or 3 days. Then we have our group of offers that we sit down with the seller to go over. One offer gets accepted, a couple of offers end up as our backup plan B and C, and that's it. And the home is off the market, right? This is how competitive it is right now. Okay. Once the offer is received, negotiated, and accepted, we are on the contract. This is when phase 2 of our process starts, right? So phase 1 is having the plan, preparing for everything, getting the home on the market and marketing the home. Phase 2 is the home comes off the market and we're working with a particular buyer, with their mortgage company, and getting your home ready to be sold and looking forward to a closing date. Okay. So phase 2 has probably a good 300 or 400 steps that we don't tell you right away during phase 1 because it's just too much. That's why we break our process into 2 different phases to make sure that we just focus on one step, one checkbox at a time, to make sure that we get everything done that is currently needed. And then once phase 2 is there, we sit down again, we go over our timelines. Everything that you need to know is going to be given to you in writing. And then we plan on a smooth transition once we're under contract. So here's what I have to share with you today. I am a believer in free resources and information so that way you are educated as much as possible. So the 2021 free seller resources I have for you, here's the link. Please feel free to go there. I am always more than happy to share with you to make sure that you are the most knowledgeable about the market, about our community, whether or not you're planning on selling, or maybe you want to pass this information to somebody else. You can definitely do that. I have there's some books and some others that are in my seller resource library. You're welcome to fill out the information, or you're welcome to reach out to me, to our team directly. Here's what's next, okay? If you're not sure what you want to do, that is perfectly okay. But if you want to know what's happening in your neighborhood, in your market right now, it is absolutely the right time to request that information. I am always tracking to see what's going on in my neighborhood because I want to know how much my house is worth this year, right? It kind of helps me plan. It makes me feel good that I have equity in my home. So I am more than happy to do the same thing for you. If you want to talk to me in private, we can do a Zoom call, a phone call, or in person if you feel comfortable. I'm more than happy to share with you what my thoughts are. And believe me, if I don't feel it's the right time for you to make a move, I will definitely let you know, okay? Because it's not always the right time. So besides this workshop, we always host at least one workshop a week. The schedule is live with Olga. You can check all of our workshops that we're posting. All of our workshops are recorded and you get a workbook and tons of content and resources with every workshop that we do. Because again, my goal is to help you and be there as your community resource and share with you what makes a difference and what matters for our local economy and for you guys as being homeowners. So this is what I have to share with you today. So that is the end of the workshop. And now we are about 20 minutes before the end of the hour. And now I invite you to please let me know if there's something that maybe you want some clarifications on, or if there's any other questions that I can answer for you. Andrea, did your husband make it? Was he able to get into a different phone number?
Yeah, he did. He's Jason on the phone.
Oh, fantastic. Okay. Hi, Jason.
Hi, how's it going?
Doing good. What questions do you guys have? I just want to make sure that I provide you with as much value as possible.
I think it was super informative. We actually are contracted to build, we're building a house and we're currently in a townhouse. So we're kind of, like what you said, in the process of getting furniture out. We have 2 little kids, so kind of playing around with what toys we can get rid of versus not going crazy for the next couple of months. So we're in our townhouse community. I mean, like you said, houses were going 6-7 months. And now there's only 2 houses up for sale, like as of like Friday or something like that, last I looked. So there's no inventory in our townhouse community.
Absolutely. Do you guys have a anticipated completion date for your new construction?
When we signed with them around Christmas time, it was end of July. They haven't broken ground yet. So I think that's definitely one thing we do want to wait for. I think they're close. We haven't followed up with the seller or the builder probably in about a week or 2 on timelines. But we drove by earlier in the week and it looks like they're getting close.
Awesome. Just keep in mind with new construction, they have the right to postpone. And I don't know, depending on what kind, if you have a big builder or if it's somebody smaller, just ask them, what are the chances of your closing date being postponed more than like once or twice? Because it's going to make a difference for you in terms of your selling process. Right. However, the good thing is because you are sellers and you have a place to go, right? You don't have to worry about it. Let's say that you sell and the builder extends your settlement date, let's say by, I don't know, 15 days or a month. That is one of the things that you can negotiate with a potential buyer on your own home, that you can either rent back your own home after you close on it, or you can extend the settlement date. So that's kind of, it'll give you a little bit of flexibility, because I know with new construction, sometimes, you get all excited because they're like, oh yes, we're closing June 30th is the date. And guess what? 2 weeks before, they're going to tell you, well, we can't get these certificate of occupancy from the township, so we have to extend it by 15 days, or we have to extend it by another 30 days. So just kind of expect this to be a little bit fluid and, like a rubber band for when you get to that finish line, because new construction can be finicky a little bit.
Yeah, that's what we kind of where we are now. Our townhouse is new construction too, and it was a little bit of that, but it was, I think, weather delays or whatever it was, 7-8 years ago. But at this point, we have one of our girls going into kindergarten, so we're up to like a kindergarten deadline too. I was like, oh, what are we gonna do? Start in our current district or move to the new one and rent for a little bit if something like that happens? So
Sure. Okay. You had a question? Yeah.
Hi. So I didn't hear from you. We did not hear from your presentation. So how are you showing homes? Is it basically just looking at a video on a website, or you're taking people in through the homes, and how is it done now?
So we can show homes physically where there's a party that is coming in, an agent. There's a limit as to how many people can be in the home at a time. We are limiting as to how much time can be spent in the home. We are, depending on how much of a demand, I have personally limited showings to 15 to 20 minutes. This way it's in and out. And what we recommend is that if we know this is going to be a very popular home, right? Like Andrea, this is something that maybe you guys would have to consider, is that if you have a very desirable location for your home and you're going to be putting it on the market, consider listing your home early in the week, but start allowing showings on Friday or the weekend. What that means is that you're giving potential buyers the opportunity to have their 15 to 20 minute appointment slot, and you're going to have showings literally back to back the whole day. Yes, it's going to be inconvenience. Yes, you will have to be out of the house for the day, maybe go visit family. However, if you show your home for 2 days or 3 days straight, that will be the end of it. Then you have your offers lined up, and then you can stop showing your house.
And well, if the house is empty, then there's a little sanitizing that needs to be done. But in a 3-day time point, do the sellers then need to hire a professional grade sanitizing crew to come and clean every day?
So I give my clients a checklist. So what we do is we have the sellers turn on all the lights and open all of the closet doors. So basically try to limit what buyers will have to touch. Yes, if you're planning on coming back after the full day of showings and you're staying at the house, right? If you can't stay with family, yes, you will need to sanitize. We do ask for people to take their shoes off, or we provide booties so that way they're not tracking snow and dirt right now. But this is the conversation that I have with all of my clients, that it's going to be uncomfortable. People are going to touch things. So be prepared to have lots of Lysol and wipes and hand sanitizer in place.
One last question. As you get close to closing the house, does New Jersey have any mandatory requisites that the house is to be sanitized professionally before it goes to the person that bought the house, or that's up to the buyer?
There are no requirements. So once you move out of your home, overall, the expectation is that you clean the house, right? It needs to be vacuumed, it needs to be broom swept. You can't really leave trash behind. So some people hire professional cleaning companies. Some people feel comfortable doing it themselves. We always encourage you to use reasonable cleaning methods that, you feel comfortable with. Ultimately, if you think about it, when I'm working with buyers or our team is working with buyers, we tell them always, before you move in, you need to clean the house. You need to change locks. You need to make sure that, you vacuum, you clean, because that's just a good practice, because you don't know what kind of people lived there before. And, it's always better to rely on your own policy of cleaning.
What about like an existing issue? So we have when it rains really bad, our front door, water damage, that's the word I'm looking for. We contacted the HOA, once again, so we're in the townhouse. They couldn't find it on the outside, supposedly. We had someone come in 2.5 years ago, rip up the floor and rip up the wall. Couldn't see anything on the inside. I still think it's part of the HOA. He fixed it 2.5 years ago. We noticed about 6 months ago, it's starting to happen again. You can see the water damage right by the kick plate on the front door. Is that something our responsibility to fix, or can we just list it as like a known issue and kind of, here is 500 rebate to it, $1,000 back or whatever? How do people typically handle it? It's not massive. It's just that we've already spent the money trying to fix it once. And I think it's really got to get escalated again to the HOA, which I was planning on starting. I just don't want to honestly rip up the floors if someone's going to come in 6 months and replace them anyway type thing.
Sure. Is your HOA responsible for exterior maintenance of your home?
Yes, we have a condo HOA, so drywall.
Okay. So yes, ultimately it is their responsibility. They're just being lazy about it, which I'm not surprised. So my suggestion to you is maybe when it's raining or windy, come out and see if there's anything noticeable where maybe something is kind of flying away. My second suggestion to you is see if you can just use a tube of caulk. I don't know what color you have of your exterior, whether it's white or clear, for example, but see if you can caulk some of these most common culprits of some kind of seams, right? Whether it's a seam with, if it's a flashing, if it's something else, sometimes a tube of caulk or a bead of caulk may be all you need. So you can play around with that. And if it's not something that the HOA is going to notice because it's the same color, it is your way of addressing an issue, because ultimately it's kind of like causing the damage to your property, right? That's why, HOA is not worried about it, because it's kind of like, well, it's not mine. I don't have to worry about it. So, and I would kind of try and brainstorm it that way. Ultimately, because of the way the market is now, and there's such lack of inventory, if you still are not successful in figuring out what it is, my suggestion is you definitely need to disclose it for sure on your seller's disclosure. And you just explain exactly what you told me. But this is what we noticed happening. We contacted HOA. They came out. They didn't find anything. We did this. We couldn't find anything. So we're just keeping a watch on it right now. However, it is still considered to be unresolved. So your job is to disclose. And in a lot of the times, as long as you disclose, most of the time it's not an issue.
Okay. Yeah, we're not, well, the whole HOA, they're changing management companies soon, like within the next month. So
Yeah, you're not going to see anything.
maybe they're on April 1st knocking on their door asking, can we get this checked out?
Absolutely. Yeah. But yeah, if you find, if you just want to kind of do some brainstorming with some caulk and look at your seams, it might be as small as something that's like you would say, I would never think about it, but it could be the culprit.
Okay.
Yeah. Anything else that you guys can think of that I maybe did not answer, or any other questions, please fire away.
We experienced something like that too. The water was seeping through a joint in the patio on the second floor in another house that we have. And it was coming down into the garage. And it was just a correction of that seam that whatever was there caulking had come off, and the rain would come and migrate through the wall, and then we could see in the garage. So I do agree that your recommendation to her is very valid, because we have experience already. So
see, that's the problem with water. It will find its way in, right?
It was completely unexpected where
Exactly.
the stain was coming.
Right. Absolutely.
Yeah, when he ripped up the floor and the walls and stuff, it was on an exterior wall. Like, I almost wished it was like something visible that he saw. I was like, oh, this is the culprit, but nope, nope.
Yeah, I bet you, because of the fact that you ripped it, it was just something small.
Yeah, and I think it's our front door from the day we moved in always was a little offset. So I think it was just, like you said, probably flashing, caulking, whatever, kind of over the years disintegrated.
If you were to put yourself eye level to the kick plate and to the bottom of the door, and maybe do a flashlight, see if you can actually see in. Because if your seal is not properly sealing the bottom of your door, that could be an issue too.
Okay, that's a good idea.
Just crawl around your front door.
My neighbors really think we're crazy yelling at the kids all the time, so no problem here.
Okay.
We are going to go and have dinner now, but
All right, that sounds great. Well,
grateful conversation here.
Well, thank you so much for joining us. Hi. If you have any other questions, we will forward you our contact information, and you are welcome to reach out to us anytime. We're here.
All right. Thank you, Olga. And
All
goodbye.
right, my pleasure. Have a good night.
Night.
All right. Jason, Andrea, can you think of, guys, anything else? Anything else I can do for you?
I think, that's about it right now. Like I
Okay.
said, we were just kind of started getting things cleared out, kind of watching what's going on in our section, and then fingers crossed timing works out, like you said.
That's the tough one with construction. Just remember that you guys need to be proactive and stay on top of them, because they're not going to be calling you and giving you an update all the time. So it's important for you. I just remember my last clients with new construction that I was, giving them the same advice, and they were so frustrated because they wanted to sell their townhouse like you. And they're like, well, we can't figure out the timeline because they can't give us a certain date, like for us to kind of work backwards. So, once you got once you have your drywall and those things, the other thing you can do is, like, what township is your new construction in?
New construction in Hainesport, next to Mount.
Sport? Okay, so my suggestion is you can even reach out to Hainesport Construction Department of the township and ask them, how are they running on their new construction permits and new construction certificate of occupancy? Okay, and they will be able to tell you, oh, we're behind, because a lot of townships are behind right now only because of COVID, right? There's a lot of people not working. Some of the townships are not even doing inspections. So ask them, are they behind or are they on time? And they may ask you, well, what new construction? Or maybe that is the only place where they have, and they might just say, you know what, we're not that bad. So that will also give you time if there's going to be delays that the builder maybe has no control over, because they have to work with the township, right? In order for them to sell your new home, the township has to give the builder a clear certificate of occupancy, and only with that document they can say to you, all right, we're ready to close.
That's good advice too. Yeah, I know when we met with the builder end of January, and then we had messaged her about something probably mid-February. And at that point, they were getting ready to send the stuff over to the township. And then February, she said the permits were with with the township to start construction. So hopefully, we'll probably do sending her an email in the next couple of days just to see if they've started anything. But, or I know they haven't started, well, at least from Monday, they haven't started anything, but if they got approved.
You can always, again, call the construction office and say, hey, I'm inquiring about 123 Main Street. Can you give me an idea on the permits timeline, right? Because they need permits for the foundation, the pouring, like the footings have to be checked. Like there's going to be steps in between during the construction where the township has to come out and inspect at every certain step in the construction process. They have to inspect before the drywall goes up, before insulation goes up, like all the electrical and plumbing.
Okay.
So my suggestion is just don't always rely on what the rep tells you from new construction, because once they sold you the house, you kind of like on a little bit of a back burner for them. So they're not going to be as attentive to you as when you were shopping. Trust me.
Yep. Jay, do you have any questions? I know I can hear him wrangling one of the kids, so.
No worries.
It was that time for the baby, so yeah.
I got it. I completely understand. Well, you guys, I'll forward you my contact information. Feel free to reach out to me if you need any other assistance. The good thing is you have a semi time frame in mind, at least, which should be helpful to you to kind of get everything together. So I definitely applaud you for doing things ahead of time and participating in some of these workshops, because I can tell you that most people unfortunately don't. So that's where my job comes in, is I'm trying to educate as many people as possible to help make things smoother and less stressful.
Great, thanks so much. It was super informative.
All right, thank you so much, guys. You have a good evening.
Thank you.
And we'll forward you a copy of the workshop and the recording as well. Okay.
Great, sounds good. Thanks so much.
All right, my pleasure. Have a good night, everyone.